fast forward to today, I probably spend an hour a day, if that, and no employees participating in the management of the account. They're all focused on generating creative, which is fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, I love that. Like the idea that it went from what 1.5 to FTE full-time equivalency across everybody.
Yeah.
So at 150K to zero, that lifespan was working 2 full-time equivalency jobs across multiple team members with a TOF, BOF, MOF,
all
hard level
stuff.
of work.
Yep.
And now you work maybe an hour a day. And what does that monthly look like now?
This month we are at a place where we are spending around 40,000 and making 160 in revenue.
This is a lot. What's that?
Yeah, the AI will handle it. They will know it. I mean, think about that. Like the whole point of social media. Like, why do you have these like 21-year-old kids blowing up on TikTok or Instagram or any of these social networks? It's that they're putting out. I mean, they don't know how to run ads and do all this stuff, yet they're getting millions of views. It's because they have a methodology to test creative, and they test a lot of creative, and they're giving the AI the network what it wants, right? Which is people that want to engage with the content, and hopefully that leads to a business objective, but not always.
Yeah, I mean, not always. And to back that up, like I think it was like 4 to 6 months ago, I saw everybody saying, what's really working right now is running your best organic TikToks as Facebook ads. And I was just like, so you mean running content that is really good at earning attention and driving engagement might be a good advertisement? Like, we've known that for years.
Yeah.
But the idea that is a disruptive trend in the advertising world just speaks to so much of, I think, how far behind so many people are, to be completely honest. Might as well let them do it. But with that community, I'm curious, like, if you had to give me top 3 things that you got out of the Facebook Ads Facebook Ads MBA program community, what would they be?
Let's see. Like validation that the strategy is correct before you run it, I think is a big thing, because when we talk about testing new ideas, it costs money to run these ads. It costs money to run these tests. So having people able to say, yeah, I did this thing and it totally worked, or I did this thing and it kind of worked, but you should try this. So I say that's one. Getting introduced to like up and coming tech that you might not know about yet, but is amazing, is another one. So there's many technologies like triple whale I was unaware of. So yeah, getting introductions to that kind of thing. And then just general business, like being able to see what they're doing, what's working in their businesses, I should say offers, more than just general business. What offers are they running specifically, and how can I translate those offers to my business? When we talk about, is it better to run things like buy 3, get 1 free versus a percentage discount? We're in a community of master marketers who are looking beyond just like, oh, I'm getting this return on my ads. They're actually building real businesses, which is really cool.
Yeah. How many marketers are still reacting to information they got from the dashboard yesterday?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like, yeah, probably a lot. And that is what I used to do, is like constant managing on the daily. And now it's just like, all right, we're going to look at a 30-day look back, go check it, mess around with it for, I basically spend like 30 minutes looking at it and thinking, okay, what am I going to do? Plan out my moves, be a little bit more strategic. And then I might make one move, and it might just be like, zap that one ad and that's it. That's the only move we're making today. People are addicted to story. Okay. And how do you make a product increase the perceived value of a product? It's by telling a great story about the product. So getting that content on social media is likely to result in what Facebook wants and what you want. So then, how do you do it? Well, step 1 is to get the ad account stabilized so you can actually have some time to focus on writing stories and getting people to storytell, right? Yeah, I totally agree. It's all story. Like, not Nobody wants to see buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. Oh, now it's 40% off. Like that's terrible. That's
Right?
build a brand. That's not going to give you good margin. What you want is a really great engaging story that speaks to the emotional thing the product delivers, which in
Yeah.
our case is cozy moments with your young baby because they're not young forever. Well, I think a lot of marketers might not realize how the customer journey really works on social, which is they're gonna see a piece of content, and some people are gonna click the website, great, and a lot of people are just gonna visit the profile. And if that profile is also loaded up with great stories, then that person's gonna stay in your profile and maybe watch 5 or 10 of your videos, and that is signaling back to the AI they like this brand, right?
Yeah.
And that's free exposure, right? So I might have paid for that first impression, but then they go in the profile and they impress themselves 10 more times with all these videos. Tremendous value. And you don't get that with TV. You don't get that with direct mail.
Just letting other people know that value. What are your
Hmm.
top favorite
Yeah.
pieces of the Facebook Ads MBA program that is now paid for it, that investment in spades for the rest of your life?
Yeah. So the highest ROI one is actually the ecosystem ROAS methodology. A system to track where you're spending across 5, 6, 7, 8 different marketing channels, email, SMS, affiliates, influencers, 4 different ad networks, to be able to see what the hell's actually going on when you're spending like 100 grand a month. That's a huge win. And also, it's a very useful document for communicating across your organization on what's going on. So I just use that. That's my weekly report to the CEO. Now we just go through that. There's no longer like 20 different things I have to go compile to do a report. The second one would be just the mindset or the confidence in knowing like you can't outsmart the AI, like because you got all these great stories of actually working directly with Facebook developers and they gave you money and you tried to outsmart the AI and you couldn't. So knowing that like, hey, you can't outsmart the AI, focus on your creative and focus on your business. That has been really key because if you're not embracing that type of framework, you're probably wasting a lot of time, and I definitely was. And then the third one is also kind of we'll talk about the Scrum document, right? The other one, a system by which you can have multiple people creating assets, like graphic designers and videographers, influencers, influencer coordinators, all this stuff, working in a document that's in the cloud, Google Drive, that everyone knows what's going on and what worked and what didn't work and what the status of all this stuff is. It really created a structure where I could scale a team, a content generation team around this methodology, as opposed to like an ad hoc system, which is what we're doing before, where we'd have like, oh, I'd have you designer go make 10 ads, and oh, I'll have the agency make 10 ads. Oh, and these influencers made some videos, and there's all kind of like guess and check, throw it at a wall, see what sticks. That was not a good methodology. So your methodology for testing, and then the system by which you manage a team who does that, because that's the next level, right? Like you're doing probably a lot of people running ads themselves, maybe your marketing manager. At some point, once you figure out the ads, you're going to need to build a team around it, and there's a great structure in place to do so. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, which is really key in any growth marketing position, because like once you figure out how to once you know how to make it rain, like you're going to get promoted, right? So like you better have a system in place to be able to handle that. Otherwise, you get promoted to your highest level of incompetence, which unfortunately happens with a lot of people. Right?